Good morning, everyone. Here I am. Day 18, day 1. I'm 420 hours in, and I'm going to break my fast with watermelon. In this video, I'll talk all about why watermelon, what you can, probably shouldn't eat, all that fun stuff. And I'll cite my sources, or main source, but I've read a lot about it. I feel ready. I had a good night's sleep. I'm going to eat this. And then I'm going to do some gentle yoga. And then every 2 hours I will eat this for today. And I feel good. Feels weird that I'm going to eat because I haven't eaten in 17 plus days. It's been a interesting journey. And let's eat. Let's see. That is good. It tastes very, because I haven't eaten anything, the texture, very, very good. Kind of grainy in an interesting way. The flavor isn't overwhelming. One thing on a long fast is you have that tongue. Now my tongue didn't get coated because I'm a pretty experienced faster, but you have a metallic taste the whole time, and that gets old really quick. But you don't mind it, you forget about it. But it's like every time you drink your water, you get a metallic flavor with it. So yeah, the refeeding process, you have to be very careful. You'll get sick if you just eat a bunch of crap. And there's a lot of discussion about it. I watched a lot of YouTube videos along with all that I've read. And it can get very confusing for people, so later in this video I'll talk more about that. So I'm eating basically like a cup every 2 hours for the day. And my weight has stopped. I end this fast at 155.6. I was 155.6 yesterday. I don't know what that is in kilograms, I'm sorry. But you can Google the conversion. Right? Watermelon's good. One thing for sure, you look forward to food. I look forward to a Beyond Burger. They're very good. When I come back, we will talk more about refeeding. Day 1, back onto food. Continuing day 1, you can already tell that my voice has gotten better. I've spent the day eating watermelon every 2 hours and feeling good. It's funny when you eat that you feel it. You really feel it in your, you feel the calories. You feel in your extremities. You just feel it sits in your stomach because you're so used to it being empty that you feel it big time. If that's why if you're overeating. So these are my sources. These are 3 of my sources. Complete Guide to Fasting. This one's more for like philosophical stuff, but it has good information in it too. And Dr. Furman. This is what got me started. I read his other book, Eat to Live, which I have over here. And there's a small passage in it about therapeutic fasting, as I said before. And that got me started on it. I got his book like right after I saw that passage. And for me, it was the healing aspects. I am not an expert. I do not advocate or suggest anybody fast or intermittent fast. It's just what I do, and I'm sharing it. There's some really interesting science that's come out, especially Dr. Fung's stuff about what fasting does, about what not fasting does, which we already know a lot of the very serious disease results, which I'd like to avoid. I don't know about you, but the whole part, especially about autophagy, which again, they're doing a lot of research on, and we actually have pretty good information that part of autophagy cleans out your brain. So they're linking eating all the time to, Alzheimer's. But I've already said that. So, yeah, this is my experience. So if it's not yours, you find yours. You do your research. That's the key. And one thing about when you go into stage 5, which is refeeding, is you can't, according to some, if you're a very seasoned, faster, if you can sit down with a stack of food and go to town and it doesn't kill you, hey, cool. Everything I've read, and if I couldn't even imagine like eating a burger or something, or a huge meal, it will hurt. It will hurt. At the very least, you might have indigestion. At the very worst, you could get refeeding syndrome, which is like where you get too many calories, too much glucose, too much fat, too much, all the stuff. And it can, you can have pulmonary problems, all sorts of stuff can happen to you. So the refeeding part, you want to take your time and go slow. Drink your water, don't drink crap. You can't just, I think you need to be really conservative and, know your body. If you're like, yeah, I've been doing this for like 25 years, I just sit down with, a huge burger and fries and a shake. Cool, But for those of us, or if you're inexperienced, I'm pretty experienced, but all I know is that you're very sensitive after a long fast, and you can lose that sensitivity as quickly as you gained it. So to me, it's that taking that slow pace, and I did this for healing, so that then just throw that healing out the window now. So for me, it's watermelon for 24 hours. I've been eating, like I said, every 2 hours. It's been delicious, and drinking my water. As much as I love coffee, and I am a coffee lover, like Well, I love coffee. I won't drink it for a while because, again, we know how addictive it is, so I'm going to give it some space. And I'll have coffee again, of course. But, so yeah, I think taking your time, slowing, you could still have, I have a little bit dizziness if I move too quick, so it's still, the recovery period is kind of like 1-to-1. I've heard different ratios, absolutely. You know, I think it depends on the person. I go 1-to-1. Will I go super slow? You know, a week from now, I'm going to see. I did that 10-day fast earlier in the year, and I had eaten terribly for 12 days after my son's death. I mean, terribly. Like I was a pretty much vegan. I mean, for 5.5 years, and then I was a little less vegan before, because I was doing the ketogenic diet and I was trying to randomize my diet and periodically poison myself. I'll talk more about that in a video coming up. But so I really, you know, went to town on myself, grieving, of course. I just comfort food city and spent hundreds of dollars at Starbucks eating, you know, was it chicken bacon or chicken sausage bacon biscuit with I think a gravy, like a gravy thing. Love that thing. They're terrible. So when I did that 10-day fast, I was able to transition a little bit faster. I didn't have to take as long. I didn't feel like I needed to. I never got sick. But going even further and really just drinking water most of the time, you really, you know, I mean, I didn't jump right into eating burgers and Starbucks again when I did the 10-day fast, but not even close. But you want to, when you're cleaning out your body so significantly, you don't want to just go in and say, oh, well, I'll toxify it all over again within, you know. So tomorrow I'll have more watermelon, and then we can add strawberries. So what we're looking for is high water content food, high water content food. So some people do juice, like vegetable juice. Fruit juice isn't recommended because it's a huge insulin spike because you don't have the fiber with it. So like with watermelon, it's quite an insulin spike. I don't feel it the same way as when I eat sugar because it's so much more water. So tomorrow I'll have probably some strawberries. They're very high in water. You know, I don't do juices, but I could, I guess. It's just like a preference, kind of your experience. I could see vegetable juices being really good. Some say you do cooked food, you know, cooked vegetables. I'm not so sure about cooked stuff yet, but, you know, there's just so much information, so you have to see what works for you. Experiment. That's what this all is experiment, not to find optimal health. I don't think that exists. I think it's a nice idea, but, and again, you know, health isn't how just you look. And what is health? Again, think about that in a really broad sense and examine it for yourself. I thought health meant many things, and I've, in my research over the years, you know, to me, I was a whole food, plant-based diet radical, you know. In my mind, I would have never eaten an animal-based protein again in my life, and I didn't for 5.5 years until I read something and looked at the research that person looked at, and was persuaded to say, hey, that's not serving me, right? I understand the ethical component big time of ethical veganism, but that's never why I went vegan. Not that there's not that component, but I'll save that debate for another time. And I'm well versed, so we can have fun. But I went for, in my mind, looking to me for optimal health. And what I was actually doing, it is healthier, but again, what does that mean? And in light of what stress and physiological adaptation does homeostasis for too much, homeostasis, that balance, doesn't serve us. So I think the concept of anti-fragility is kind of inspired me 10 months ago to do other things and to experiment, to really experiment like that author, which I'll talk about, Christian Vlad, you know, read 2 of his books, and they're very inspiring, very interesting, and I'll talk about them in the weeks to come. So that's it, you know, it's each day, especially for the first week, I'll be real conservative, just, you know, every couple hours. That's the thing, is that I'm not hungry, but I'm getting there, I think. And I look forward to eating all the foods that I love, and it feels strange to have food in my stomach. I think that's, like I said, I can feel it in my hands. And so yeah, I think that will do it. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. If you like my channel, subscribe. I got much more to talk about. I'm going to give a couple days off. I've never video blogged like this before, day after day after day. And I'll give it a rest. You know, I'll come back and talk about it some odd days later, how I'm feeling, what I'm doing, and yeah, talk more about other things. What's next? We'll find out. But yeah, I answer your questions. I get some feedback. I appreciate that. Got some good feedback today, and got challenged nicely. Appreciate it. And some people don't, you know, I'm no expert. If you want an expert, find an expert. I'm just one person sharing their experience and why I went on my deep fast and why I wanted to share that. And just about sharing one's experience. And I think that's what I'm after. I'm not making any money off this, so I serve no one. Maybe I should ask them for some money. No, this isn't about that to me. It's about sharing experience. That's what the whole idea when I came up was, hey, why not? Why not living insight to stir us, right? So my 17 days are up. So did anyone understand in that first video when I said why I like the idea of 17 days? Because then I said, 17 days? We won't last 17 hours. Who was that? Nobody answered me. Who was that said that? What film was it? 17 days? We won't last 17 hours. I'm going to hold on to that for a couple more. And then I'll share the answer with you in the next video in a couple days. I hope everyone is well. I hope these videos have not annoyed you to tears, and if so, don't watch them. See ya.